Hi, everybody. Hope you're having an awesome day. Hope you had a great holiday weekend. Today's agenda, what we're going to be going over is I'm just going to do a real quick, brief introduction about myself. We'll take a look at the entry poll results, but then we're going to jump into how to download and install Plant3D. And then we're going to actually open up Plant3D. I'm going to show you a couple things that are real quick and easy to do. And we might run into a common issue and how to solve that one. And then we'll go ahead and jump into some questions and answers. Hopefully I won't drone on forever. So a little bit of an introduction about myself. I'm, as Christina said, I'm an application engineer here at KETIV, and I'm also an Autodesk certified specialist. I started my design journey in 2005. That's when I got out of school and I actually joined an engineering firm. Our primary focus was on pulp and paper. However, I had to throw in there that one of my favorite projects was to generate electricity by running diesel generators off of cow poo fumes. I always tell people we generated electricity off of cow farts. Had a lot of fun during that one, and we used Plant3D for that project as well. I was with that engineering firm for about 14 years. Once I left there, I was a project manager for a local company that fabricates cell towers, and they specialized in hiding in plain sight. Water towers, stuff like that, where you can't actually see the antennas. Unfortunately, I did not get to use Plant3D for that one. So let's jump into our entry poll results. It's looking like we got quite a few new users, or we even got someone that's using a similar product but considering changing over, and that's awesome. That's what we're here for, to teach you how to use this software. Let's jump into how to actually get a hold of it real quick. So looking at my screen here, if you go to the website manage.autodesk.com, log into your Autodesk account, and then go over to the products and services, you'll be able to navigate to the AutoCAD Plant 3D software. And from there, you'll even be able to choose which version you want to download. It only goes back so far, 2023 being the most current version. Once you select the version that you want to be using, you can very easily just click the install button, or the method that I prefer is you hit this little caret and select the download option. I just personally had a much better time using that method. Also, while you're on this page inside of Plant3D and you have your current version selected, you can look for updates to keep your software up to date. We get support calls here at KETIV, and we love helping you guys. That's what we're here for. We want to keep you moving. A lot of times, just an update needs to be installed. You can also just scroll down on this page to get to those updates. If you ever have any issues downloading and installing your Plant3D, if you're one of our support customers, hey, let us know. We will gladly jump on a Zoom call with you and help you out and get you through there. So one of my reasons that I love Plant3D so much is you can design stuff with speed and fairly easy. Okay, no matter the project, we're always on a time crunch. Clients always want their fast, accurate results yesterday. So using Plant3D allows us to get deliverables to our clients that are accurate We can generate our 3D models. We can generate orthographic views. We can even generate isometric drawings by clicking a couple buttons. Okay, so the best workflow is that I have seen is start with the information that you already know about your site. If you're working on an existing site, generate your existing layouts, get your tanks, your pumps, your pipes, all of that into position. Once you have that set up looking like you want it to be, go ahead and start adding in your new equipment or your modifications. With Plant3D, and we'll go through this with the demonstration, the easiest way is get your equipment in place and then route your pipe in direction of flow, if possible, from point A to point B. Once you get that in there, start putting in your valves, your instruments, and all the other items that you need to make this work. That includes pipe supports and extra steel that is available inside of Plant3D. Then all you got to do is generate and annotate your drawings based off of those models. So let's sidestep the PowerPoint here for a minute. Let's actually get into it. All right. I have an existing project open on my computer right now. So once you open up Plant3D and you get it up and running, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have your project manager open. Okay, your project manager is this guy up here. You're going to want to select from your project list, which is this arrow right here, and we're going to navigate to a new project. I'm not actually going to fully go through setting up a new project because I have some stuff I want to show you on this existing project, but setup is fairly easy. You can give your project a name. This could be a site name. This could be a project number. However your company's standards work. We'll go with 22 for the year 2022. And this is project 4398. Okay, I'm just throwing out an example here. If you want, you can add optional descriptions or information here, and this can be accessed later on in your project. If you are running Plant3D in Vault, you can check this box here. If you have trouble setting that up or need any tips and you're one of our support customers, hey, let us know. We'll be happy to help you out. All right, and you're going to specify where your files are going to be stored. If you're not using Vault, if you're using local drives, you're going to specify where on that needs to be. If you've already set up a project that you like the settings and everything's working out great, you can copy those settings from the previous job by checking this box, and that'll help save on some of the extra setup that's out there. Okay, we got this screen taken care of with our project. Okay, now we can choose. Are we doing an Imperial project? Are we doing a metric project? And once you're inside of a metric, if that's what you're doing, you can continue to use metric run pipe, or you can do what's called a mixed metric, and you can have all your default units set up in metric. However, you can use Imperial sizes of pipe if you wish. I believe you can also use metric at the same time, hence mixed metric. I'm going to stick with Imperial because I'm in the United States and that's what we do. All right. Now, from this point on, I really highly encourage people to allow Plant3D to do what it's supposed to do. Let Plant3D manage your documents and decide where it's going to go. You can see that it is putting it in my project folder here. And now for my P&IDs, it's just adding an extra folder for the P&IDs. You can change this. However, in my experience, I've had much better results by letting the default do its job. Another option that I have here is, am I going to be using the PIP symbols, which is process industry piping, or am I going to be using the ISA symbols for my P&IDs, which is the international standards? I most commonly use PIP, so I'm going to select that and I'm going to click next. Now, this screen here is Plant3D just telling you, hey, this is where I'm going to store all the rest of your information. That this location here is where I'm going to put your 3D models. This location here is where I'm going to put your pipe specs. This is where I'm going to put your orthographic drawings. And by the way, we're giving you a miscellaneous folder that you can put anything you want in here. It could be spreadsheets, it could be PDFs, internal documents, emails, whatever you want. Now, same with the previous screen on the P&IDs, I highly recommend letting Plant3D choose these locations inside of your project folder if you can get away with it. Autodesk did a great job with Plant3D, and it's very good at maintaining all these documents and keeping track for you. On the next screen, we can, by default, it's going to be a SQLite database, because this is all database entities, or you can set up a SQL Server. You would just select your SQL Server, put your information in, and click next. I'm going to stick with SQLite. I've used both. They both work great, no complaints there. I'm going to click next. And that's really the end of setting up a project. It's really simple to use the out-of-the-box specs and projects and stuff like that. If you wanted to make more edits after this point, you would just go ahead and check the box and hit finish, and you would be prompted with other dialog boxes after you click finish. But I don't need to do that right now, and I'm not actually going to generate a new job because I'm going to work with my existing job. So I'm going to hit cancel. Yes, I want to cancel. All right. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. I know I like to talk fast, but there's a lot of information to go over here. So once you have your project set up, you can navigate to your other projects that you've done in the past by hitting that drop down arrow, where instead of picking new project like we did, you can pick previous projects that you've worked on. And inside your your project manager, you can see I have folders set up for my P&ID drawings. So here, I got a little preview down here at the bottom. I got P&IDs set up for this one. And if you want to see more about that, one of my colleagues, Nicole Morris, did a KVA not too long ago on setting up and getting started with your P&IDs. So check out our YouTube channel. So now, in addition to my P&ID drawings, I have my actual 3D models, which this is one of them that's open currently. And I have it broken up into separate areas, area 1, area 2, area 6. I also have grade files, just background information, and a master layout that we'll look into later on. And we also have our pipe specs. Now, you can have as many pipe specs as you want. You can create custom pipe specs. The out-of-the-box pipe specs aren't too bad, actually. They put a lot of thought into this. Autodesk did a pretty good job. So One other thing I want to point out on the project managers, we've been looking at the source files tab. These are my main geometry that's going to control the project. The other tabs that I have available are for my orthographic drawings and my isometric drawings. Okay. In order to access them, you just select the other tab and you have your other drawings. So here's my orthographic drawings. I can put folders, I can separate them, structural, mechanical, electrical, stuff like that. And then I also have my isometric drawings. Now, I have not generated any of these isometrics, so it's empty. But what you are seeing right now is basically a line list of every pipeline that's in this current project. It's set up and it's ready to generate isometrics for you. And we'll go over that here in a minute. But let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's actually place something in Plant3D. All right. I'm going to go on my home ribbon right up here. Oops, wrong button. Right up there, my home ribbon. And I'm going to navigate over to the equipment panel, and because I want to create equipment. Okay, it's laid out right there for me. Let's place a tank in there. Now, it remembers the last information that I did. I'm doing a vertical vessel, and I've actually already run through this, but just so you can see what it's like, is I can specify the diameter of the vessel. 8-foot diameter is what I have on here, and I can specify the height. I can also change the head on there. I have a torospheric head on there, but there are plenty of other options available down here. You got pyramids, half spheres, cones, cubes, cylinders. You can make some pretty complex stuff with Plant3D out of the box. Something else that you may be noticing is that I can also tag my vessel. Okay, people that have been on site usually know we're dealing with tank 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has piping that goes to pump 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we can put that information in here and let Plant3D take care of that for us. I just select where that question mark is. I get a dialog box, and I'm going to call this one 1024. Okay, I'm just throwing out random numbers. Now, in addition to giving my vessel a number, I can also go to the properties of that vessel, and I can start looking through there. I can add a long description if I want. I went ahead and threw in a tank manufacturer. Okay, these are just companies that I know exist. That does not mean that I'm giving any special preferences, so please don't read into that. Okay, but for this example, I'm doing a vessel from Tank Connection. I put in here that it's made out of carbon steel and that the material code is ASTM A53 grade B. There's a bunch of different information in there. I could put that this vessel empty weighs 6,000 pounds. I can say whether this is a new vessel or a used one or one that was previously demoed. I can put in that kind of information in there. And you can add more fields to these. I'm not going to do that right now. I just want to give you a taste of all the information that can be generated. And this information can be exported to Excel for use otherwhere and brought back into Plant3D to update if needed. So I'm happy with the information that I've put in here so far. I'm going to create my vessel. Click the create button, and just like that, it pops up on my screen. Now, I could use Cartesian coordinates to put it in. I could snap it to the edge of this tank and I could move it off 10 feet, something like that. There's many different ways to place this. In fact, KETIV, we actually offer training classes. If you don't know how to do this stuff, we'd love to show you. But I cheated. I have a node here. So I'm going to go ahead and place it in there and I'm going to rotate the vessel, only because I know there's a nozzle on it so far. Now, one of the nice things about Plant3D is this is an AutoCAD based product. I can treat my entities just like I would a 2D line or a block or something like that. I can select my vessel like I have it selected, and I can choose what layer I want that on. It's equipment. So I'm going to put it on my equipment layer. Okay, this is just an extension of AutoCAD. Okay, now this nozzle looks a little high for this pump that I've already put in here. So I'm going to go ahead and modify the nozzle. I'm just going to hold down my control key. I'm going to select it, and I get a little pencil. It's really that easy. And my dialog box showed up on my other screen. Please bear with me. But I can edit the properties of this nozzle. I can call it a different name if I want. I can change whether it's a straight nozzle, a bent nozzle, a vent, or a manway. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick with a straight nozzle. I'm going to leave it at 300-pound pressure class, and I'm going to say it's a raised face nozzle. I don't know if you noticed it, but you can actually see this update in size as I make these changes. Now, I can also change the height. Now, I'll admit, I cheated. I know the height that I need to put this at to make it work, but it's still easy to cycle through. I changed the height to 18 inches above the bottom of the vessel. I'm going to change my nozzle projection to be 6 inches projected. I could change the angle. I could offset it so it's a tangential nozzle versus a radial nozzle. I could also invert it. I could rotate it. There's so many different options that I could do. I could spend all day doing this, but I'm going to stick with what I got right now. I'm going to hit close, and my nozzle updated on the fly. Now, one of the things that I know everybody's wanting to know is how easy is it to run pipe inside of Plant3D? Well, up here is where we created our equipment, right? On the left-hand side is tools to run pipe. I could pre-assign a line number if I knew it, like if I was following a PNID. I can pre-assign my size, and I can pre-assign my pipe spec. I'm going to leave my line number blank at this time, and I'll show you a different way to update it instead of doing it right now. I'm going to go ahead and select the route pipe. As I said during the PowerPoint presentation, Plant3D likes to place your equipment, and then it likes to run from point A to point B. Okay, a lot of times when I see people routing pipe, they'll be staring at their PNID and they'll be like, okay, I got to put a valve on this tank. I got to go do a flow indicator. I got to do a temperature indicator. I got to do all these other instrumentations. My advice to you is get that routing in there first, then come back and put in all your other pieces. It just makes it that much easier. So I'm going to select my nozzle. I'm going to start going out. You can see that I can add elbows on the fly. I can even change my drawing, my plane, so to speak, that it wants to sketch on. I could go vertical. I can continue horizontal. I can change all this on the fly. I could rotate around at angles. Okay. Or if I already know where I'm going, I could just select the other nozzle and Plant3D says, okay, this is the best route to get from point A to point B. If there were more options available for that route, they would let you know. Okay, and we'd cycle through them. In fact, I'll show you that in just a little bit. But now that I have this pipe routed, I can go ahead and route another pipe from my pump discharge, and I want to go vertical on this one. I'm not even going to worry about the elevation. We can set that later. I'm just going to make a selection, and I'm going to go off towards the west, towards all my other existing equipment there. Okay, now let's say I have a basic idea of what elevation that pipe needs to be at. Everybody hold on real quick. I'm going to zoom. I like to warn people before, whoop, wrong button. I like to warn people before I zoom. And it kind of broke. All right, well, I won't do that one again. All right. No. All right, technical difficulties. Sorry about that. There we go. There's my zoom. Okay, so I have my pipe selected, and I zoom in, and you see there's a couple little glyphs and icons going on. Well, this little guy right here, the little up arrow, allows me to set my elevation. This little plus guy over here allows me to continue routing pipe. This plus here will allow me to put a T or a branch inside my pipe run. And this little guy right here will let me substitute out for other parts if I want to. Okay, Plant3D was pretty well thought out. They put the tools in there to get you what you want. What I want to do is I want to change my elevation. And now that I do that, you can see that I have other options. I can set the top of pipe elevation. I could set my center of pipe elevation. I could set my bottom of pipe elevation. I'm used to working with bottom of pipe, so I'm going to cycle through my selections so I can set the bottom of pipe elevation at an even 10 feet. Okay. So I can just tab over and I say, I want the bottom of that pipe at 10-foot elevation. I hit enter, and what you hopefully saw there was that the elevation updated for me. Let's say I know we have some structural steel coming in this area, and I've already talked to my structural guys, and they said, hey, let's do 10-foot elevation. Well, I can easily snap to that if needed. Right? Something else that I wanted to show you is that you can get a lot of busy work going on in here. Okay, I'm trying to rotate slow. Hopefully it's not lagging on you, but there's a lot of information. Okay, sometimes I just want to concentrate on this stuff right here. I'll show you in just a second. Well, let's do it now. I can go ahead and select my pipe and my tank and my vessel, or tank and pump, excuse me, and I can say, hey, hide everything else. And it went ahead, it hid everything. It's still there, it still exists, but now I got free reign to quickly and easily route my pipe. I can hit save at any point and stuff will update. One of the speed pieces that I wanted to show you guys is, here's an example of a plan view drawing. This view actually takes a little bit to update, but I can update this view to have my new tank and pump and pipe show up. But because this one takes just a few seconds to load, I'm going to actually show you on another model that, hey, here it is. I can update my Navisworks model that my engineers are using. I can get them the information and say, hey, that new tank we're putting in, that new pump we're putting in, and a basic run of pipe I have in there for you to look at. So now my engineers can sit down and they can say, hey, I like this routing, but what I want you to do is I want you to, go about yay far out, but then I want you to cut up and head over to these sleepers. Okay, I realize there's going to be an elevation change, but I want you to do that. By the way, we got an update from our customer. They want to go ahead and put in a backup pump in this area here. Okay, they want it to be just like this one. And don't forget to put in your valves on this guy, and we'll need a clean out or a drain and another valve here. Okay, but the point I wanted to get across to you is that I can quickly and easily throw something in there, get other people looking at it, get them thinking about it, so we can all keep moving forward at a fast pace. Because like I said, everybody wants stuff yesterday. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and come back. Now, I could go through the create equipment to place another pump, but I can also just grab my pump, make a copy of it because this is basic AutoCAD, and kick it over 6 feet. I can select that pump and you can see that the properties of that pump, it says, hey, I have an issue. There's already a pump 1024 here. Well, I can update that information from this dialog box. Right down here, I say, okay, this is pump 1026, and I hit enter, and now it's up to date. It's really quick and easy. I've now met the needs that my engineer wanted me to meet. Okay. So let's go ahead and get some pipe in here to connect up this other pump, and we'll get some valves in there too. Real quick and easy way is I can grab my main suction line. I can hit that little plus. It's going to add a T in there. And I'm going to say, you know what? I want you to do the work for me. I want you to go to the node of this pump. And here's what I wanted to show you earlier, is that Plant3D is saying, hey, I have 2 possible routings to get there. Which one do you want? So I can cycle through the next one, and it wants to put 45s in there at an angle. I don't really want that one. I'll keep the straight ahead routing. And there you go. My new pipe is in there. I can select my pipes and say, add to selection the entire line number. And now I can assign a line number to that pipeline really easy. I'm going to call this pipeline 1052 or 1052. Right? And it's assigned. There it is. Right? I can also route a pipe from my suction line. I want to go from this node, and please do the work for me. And once again, Plant3D says, hey, there's a couple different ways I could do this. I could run a 45, and I'm going to have to turn this 90 into a T, or I can come vertical till I get to the same elevation and just turn this 90 into a T. That one looks great. I'm going to stick with that one. And there it is. It changed out the fitting for me to make it possible. So let's toss on a couple of valves. I'm going to just rotate to where I can see everything. And I'm going to open up my spec view, and let's put on a gate valve, 300 pound. That sounds great. And this is a 4-inch. So I'm going to insert it in the model. Well, I want to put one on that nozzle with the hand wheel up. I want to put one, you know what? I want to put this one right on the corner. And this one, I'm going to put the hand wheel off at a 45, just because I'm feeling a little saucy. And I'm going to put another one in here. Let's space this one. I want this one to be 4 feet from the face of my nozzle. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I'm cycling through my different available dimensions. I can say make it 4 feet, and I'm still feeling a little saucy, so I'm going to kick that one off at 45 as well. Okay. You can see that Plant3D went ahead and said, hey, in order to put these valves in there, you're going to need a gasket, or excuse me, a flange. You're going to need a gasket, and you're going to need bolts. Okay. All that information is in there for me. It did it. I can also go to this pump. See here, these pumps usually need a check valve in there. So I can quickly and easily select my 4-inch check valve, and I can put it in there. And hopefully you're seeing that Plant3D realizes what direction this check valve needs to be flowing right off the bat. I can let it do the work for me. Right? To show you the difference, I can cycle through this, and I can actually turn this one upside down. Not something I would normally do, but to show you that I can override it if I want. Okay. I don't like that one. I'm going to delete it. Hey, it healed the pipe for me. I'm going to go ahead and put it in there for real. Now let's put it on the node. I could select the node here. All right. And we'll leave it there. We should probably put a gate valve. And I'll let Plant3D cut the flanges back for me. Okay, attach it there and have it come out this way. Attach it there. And I had a misclick. That's why there's double flanges there, but I can easily just delete them and drag it back. All right. I'm going to hit save again real quick. So now I can quickly and easily update my engineers with the changes that they wanted. I'll drag this one back a little bit, and I'll turn the corner like what they were wanting. I'll click save. And I go back to my model, my Navisworks model that everybody's looking at and sharing and talking, and I can go ahead and update that. I don't have my commands. That was this one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and reload. And now what you're going to notice is that all my stuff disappeared. And if I could get away with doing the Price is Right fail noise, the I'd play that right now so you could see. Okay, I forgot to unisolate all my entities. And this actually brings up a good point. This brings me to my tech tip that I wanted to show you guys. There's the show all button to turn everything back on. So I'll hit that. I'll hit save. I'll go back to my drawing. I get my XREF notification. I go ahead and reload the XREF, and everything will come back, and life is good. But let's get to that tech tip to show you how to get around that little mistake that all of us Plant3D users have made before. When I isolated my entities, I used this button up here. And you can see that the command for that, for you command line warriors, is plant isolate. Okay, don't get me wrong, I still use this button all the time. But as I've said a couple times already, this is an AutoCAD based product. I can use the command line version of just isolate for isolate objects. And I can even hit save. And let's drag this pipe off a little bit more to get it closer to where it needs to be. Hit save again. And even though everything's isolated by doing it the AutoCAD vanilla way, everything will maintain in the model So I don't have to worry about Dave and Tom yelling at me from the next desk over saying, hey, Chuck, you did it again. You forgot to unisolate. Hopefully that will help you get through all that. Okay. Usually I don't give that tip out. That's a tip that we save for our classes and our trainings, but I wanted to let you guys know that one in good faith. If you need training, let us know. We love doing this stuff. I've gone way over my time, so I'm going to jump back from here. And let's go into the review real quick. Plant3D is powerful enough to handle lots of large jobs. It has data management tools built in where I could put in, the weights of tanks or pumps, the manufacturers. I can export those to Excel spreadsheets. We can modify stuff easily on the fly. We can modify our orthographic drawings. I know I didn't get into that. And we can quickly generate isometric drawings. Again, I'm sorry we didn't get into that. I love to talk. But all of this can be customized fully to meet your client's needs. Let us help you. We do offer training options here at KETIV. There is Pinnacle mentoring, which I believe Pinnacle is around $250 per person per year. Don't quote me, but I believe that's what it is. And it's a mentoring, we also offer mentoring. We have dedicated times where you would meet with one of us. If it's Plant3D, you're probably going to meet with me. We can do custom trainings. We can help you get all set up. And we can also point you in the right directions of libraries for Autodesk courses, stuff like that. Sorry I took so long, Christina. Do we have any questions and answers?
Yes, we have a few questions in the Q&A box.
Sure. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Okay, great.
So one question is can you associate manufacturers' part numbers to the parts that you place in the models? Like gate valves and check valves? Yes, absolutely. Now, sometimes that could be adding a new field, but if I select this gate valve here and I go to its properties, you can see that I have a manufacturer that I could put in there. Again, I have no affiliation with any company I put in here, but I could say this is an Apollo valve, which I don't believe they make 300-pound this big. And for the item code, I could put that as a manufacturer's number there, and I could have that generate in reports or on drawings as needed. There's another question here. Does Plant3D offer options for conveyors and overhead lifting structures in addition to piping? Yes and no. So we could add the conveyors and overhead lifting as equipment. And there's tons of choices in here. We got blowers, centrifuges, conveyors. There's a conveyor right there, actually. Filters, furnaces, there's all kinds of stuff. Or there's always my favorite, the miscellaneous equipment. I can also take manufacturers' 3D models, and using this guy right here, I can convert that to a piece of equipment. Okay. I caution you on using how much detail they provide sometimes. But also I can put in steel members. And I'm just kind of tossing one in here real quick. But if I go into the options for the steel members, I got C channels, I got rec tube, I got miscellaneous channels, I got pipe. There's just tons of different options in here. And if you're not finding the sizes or information that you want in there, you can actually go through and you can program other stuff. There's not just the ASTM standards, there's also DIN standards, EU standards, stuff like that available. Hopefully that answers your question. And another question we have here is, how does Plant3D work with the vault? We use unique file naming and have had problems using Plant3D due to the naming project links in the past. Can you explain how that interacts? That is actually a very, very long-winded discussion. I would encourage that person to reach out to us at our support website, which is, I will pull up here in just a second. It's ketiv.freshdesk.com. Let's go to the other version that you guys would see. But our KETIV Freshdesk, you could file a support ticket. However, I'd probably prefer that you call the number on here and get in touch with some of our application engineers to have that discussion. Yeah, it can be done. People do it. It just takes more than just a couple minutes to explain. And Jacob is asking, is this available to watch later? Absolutely. Yeah. Our KETIV YouTube channel, which I believe is YouTube/KETIV. Nope.
It might be KETIV Technologies, but if you go on YouTube and search KETIV Technologies, it should show up as well.
All right, we'll do that one. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. So KETIV Technologies on YouTube. If you go there, you should be able to find all the videos that we've done. And in fact, right now, the most current video is this video. But thank you guys. I'm sorry I went so long over my time limit. I enjoy this software and working on it. So let's go ahead and wrong screen. Let's go ahead. If you have any additional support questions, you can email us at support@KETIV. You can go to that Freshdesk site, ketiv.freshdesk.com, or you can call this number that's on the screen right now. But thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for leading today's session, Chuck. We will see you guys all at next week's session.
Thank you.